If you've been trying to get your 3, 4, or 5-year-old to fall asleep by themselves and sleep through the night, but no matter what you do, after lights out, they keep running out of the room and asking you for like 10 million unnecessary things, or they keep waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to climb into your bed, then you're probably making one of these 3 very common mistakes. I'm Jessica, the sleep coach just for big kids. Kids aged 2.5 to 8 who have moved out of the crib and they're already sleeping in a big kid bed, because once kids are sleeping in a big kid bed, the sleep struggles are way different. Here are 3 common mistakes I see families make all the time when it comes to toddler sleep training and what you can do to avoid them. Number 1, you're giving your child way too much attention for bad bedtime behaviors. Lots of families find themselves in this awful but very familiar dance that goes on during the bedtime routine, where your kid starts to spiral through all these bad bedtime behaviors, like they refuse to brush their teeth, or they won't put their PJs on, or all of a sudden they don't like any of the books. They don't want to pick any books to read tonight, or they're asking for, a million sips of water, or running out of the room after lights out and asking to go to the potty 15 different times. And then parents play a part too, because they're responding, right? They're either giving in to what the child's asking for because they just want bedtime to be done, or they're saying no and they're trying to hold a boundary, but then eventually giving in when no just isn't working. And then maybe both parents get involved, right? Maybe one parent's kind of resorting to yelling and one parent's trying to stay calm, and so then the parents are arguing, and you know what I'm talking about. You've been here before. Now, whether you're the giving in type of parent or the yelling type of parent or somewhere in between, I can guarantee you that one big problem is you're giving these bad bedtime behaviors way too much attention. When you're giving in to your child, or when you're engaging in dialogue with your child about these behaviors or negotiating your way through them, you're giving them way too much attention, and it's actually encouraging those behaviors to keep going and going and going. Here's an example. If you always read 2 books before bed, and then tonight your daughter's asking for a 3rd book, and you say no, but then she starts really begging, and then she kind of starts getting worked up, and then she kind of starts crying, and you're so worried that she's going to get too worked up and then she won't be able to go to sleep, so you just say, okay, fine, we'll read the 3rd book. Well, guess what? You're almost guaranteed to see that crying and begging happen again tomorrow. Why? Because it worked. But negative attention is also attention. So if you're the parent who resorts to yelling or threatening, that kind of thing, that is also attention. And that also has the same effect of encouraging these behaviors to keep going and going. Let me give you an example of the negative attention. Let's say your son keeps running out of his room after bedtime every night, asking for more water. Okay, maybe the first couple times you walk him back to his room and you say, no, it's time for bed. He comes out again, it's time for bed, you kind of keep taking him back, but he keeps coming out and asking for water, and you finally at some point you lose it, and you're like, no, there's no more water. I've told you 17 times, there's no more water. You do this every single night. You keep coming out and asking for water, you don't need more water. You have a cup of water by your bed. You had water, at dinner. You don't need water. I don't understand why you keep doing this. It's so frustrating. We talk about this every day. This negative attention is also encouraging his behavior. So even if he's not getting the water, eventually you may give in and give him the water because you think that's going to make it better. But even if you hold your ground and you don't give him the water, the reason why this can help to encourage that behavior is because he's getting something out of it. He's getting your undivided attention. Even if it's negative attention, okay, that's still valuable to your child. He's kind of in charge of this game you're playing, right? Because he's coming out and then you're having to respond to him, and this keeps going on and going on. This undivided attention that you're giving him is so valuable. So you're actually going to be seeing more of this behavior the more attention that you give it. And it's also working to delay bedtime. Our attention is like gold to our kids, and whatever they can do to get our undivided attention, you are sure to see more of. So what are you supposed to do instead? Well, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to realize the role that you're playing. You're not an innocent bystander in this situation. You actually hold a very important key, the most important key to this whole game, your attention. So use it wisely. Plan out how you want the bedtime routine to go, and then praise your child along the way as they're doing things well. Try pouring your positive attention into the things that you want your child to keep doing and ignore the stuff that tries to get them off track. Make bedtime light and silly. Have fun doing it. Use a timer. Try to race your child. Use a silly voice. Have them put on their PJs backwards. Make it a fun, lighthearted time of day. When you can channel your positive attention to fun stuff and to their good behaviors, you'll see the bad behaviors just fade away. Number 2, you're putting your kid to bed too late. Late bedtimes is really a chronic problem. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like we think our kids are out of the crib, or all of a sudden they hit 3 years old and they can stay up late. I don't know, but I see so many 3, 4, and 5-year-olds with late bedtimes, like 8:30, 9 p.m. And let me tell you, kids under the age of 6 should really be asleep by 8 p.m. Around 3 or 4 years old is when kids typically start to drop their daytime nap. And once they're losing that good daytime sleep, when you couple that with a late bedtime, your kids can get cranky and overtired very easily. And overtired kids have trouble falling asleep, they have trouble staying asleep, and they all of a sudden start waking up at 5 in the morning. If you're seeing signs like this with your child and you think you're making this common mistake, then go ahead and move bedtime earlier. For 3-year-olds, bedtime should typically be somewhere between 7 and 7:30, and 4 or 5-year-olds may be able to tolerate a bedtime as late as 7:45, but it does depend on the kid and whether or not they're still napping. The third most common mistake is you're sleeping in bed with your child at some point overnight. Overnight wake-ups are so frustrating. They're probably one of the most frustrating sleep problems because what are you supposed to do at 1 o'clock in the morning? You just want everyone back to sleep as soon as humanly possible. But this is kind of the problem. This immediate desire to get everyone back to sleep may be causing you to make some bad choices that are kind of shooting your future self in the foot, like allowing your child to come in bed with you or deciding to go in bed with your child. Once your child knows that sleeping with you is an option, it can quickly become their new expectation, even if it's after only a night or 2. And the longer the co-sleeping goes on for, the stronger the habit becomes. And then you may start to see troubles with bedtime, where your child's like, why are you trying to make me sleep in this room by myself when we all know that we sleep together? Starts to become their expectation. So what are you supposed to do about these overnight wake-ups anyway? Well, the first thing that you have to do is really decide that you do not want to share a bed with your child at any point of the night anymore. Now, parents have mixed feelings about this. I mean, there are some maybe cozy, snuggly benefits, and that's great. If you enjoy that, then keep doing it. It's not a problem. But if you really want your child to stop coming into your bed or stop needing to sleep with you, then you have to commit to making a change that you're not going to allow it to happen anymore. If you're going to waffle and let your kid in your bed sometimes, then it's just going to make the process much more difficult because you're sending such a mixed message to your child. After you make your decision, you have to allow your child to learn that this co-sleeping is not happening anymore. And how do they learn that? By experience. Now you can and you should explain to them that you're not going to be sharing a bed anymore during the night, but your actions have to match your words. Your child will consistently need to see that you're no longer co-sleeping to really understand. And if this sleeping situation has been going on for a while, it's probably going to take them a little while to learn, and that's okay. That's why consistency is so important from you, because if your child senses that you're waffling on your decision, or if you're letting them into your bed sometimes, it's just sending a mixed signal that's going to send you right back to square one. If you want to learn more about turning your child into an independent sleeper, check out this video all about my rest method.